Hello everyone, this is Mac here and I welcome you all to my YouTube channel which is called Mac Vlogs, which you all know about. If you haven't subscribed, shared or liked yet, so please do go and press the subscribe button so that you can all be notified with the new videos, new guests and new people to talk about with different content and the topics which I keep on bringing around the world to make and add value. So today the topic which we have come up with my guest, it's all about well-being and how we should be talking, how well-being should we be. So my guest for this afternoon, sitting in Oman, her name is Hyesha Barrett. She's a life coach and a neuro-transformational coach and NLP practitioner. I know her from Oman days, but it's really so fortunate that we did long ago, we did a podcast during COVID time, and
Yeah.
now we got her back again to add value because I think some of my audience and maybe the followers around the world have lost the appetite of being a well-being person. That's where we need to know and how we can bring the change in people's lives. So good afternoon, Haysha. How are you?
Good afternoon. Well, it's morning here, so good morning, Mac. I'm good. I'm doing great, thank you. How are you
Yeah,
doing?
let my audience know that in Oman it's 11 a.m. and it's 12 p.m. here
11
in Pakistan. So just a 1 hour difference. So whoever wants to say morning to Asia, and you can say good afternoon to me. So no issues at all. Okay. So Haysha has been a very vibrant personality. I have known her and I really enjoy her company in understanding how the people behave. She is really, you know, I just, if I have any doubts, if I have any questions in my mind and I need a life coach, I think Hyesha Barrett is the right person to go to. So we're going to be talking to Hyesha now, and Hyesha is going to be introducing herself at the moment. What are her objectives? What are her career goals? And how she can add value in everyone's life. So Hyesha, over to you now.
Thank you so much for having me again, Mac. It's been, I think, a couple of
It's
years
always
since.
an honor. It's always
Thank
an honor.
and as you said, we've known each other for a while now. We're always in touch. We're always sending each other amazing, positive affirmations and vibes. And so I really love your positivity, and I really thank you for inviting me on your wonderful show. And
Sure.
today we're going to be talking about, mental health, mental well-being, what we can do in order to spot the signs, what we can do in order to make sure that we up level our mental health and well-being. Ever since COVID, Mac, it has had a detrimental effect on so many of us worldwide, and I feel like a lot of us potentially don't even understand maybe the distresses that we're going through, or the upsets and pains, that the physical pains. And sometimes we don't realize it. We don't realize it, that our mental health is so prominent in the way that we feel, that we often dismiss it because we think, oh, it's just, even though it is prominent, it's still a bit taboo. People still don't really want to talk about mental health. They still think that, oh, if you're going to go and see a psychiatrist or a life coach, that you must have really bad problems. You must be, the worst cases, which is schizophrenic, or you have PTSD, or you have bipolar. And it's not that, isn't it, Matt? Like, nowadays, mental health is on the uprise. We need to talk about mental health on the mainstream, to say that it's actually very, 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 very beneficial. Just like we go to the gym to work our bodies, we need to work our minds, we need to work our brains, we need to work our mental health as well.
Agreed. Agreed. Hey, Sho, so the question arises in my mind, and I'm sure in many people's mind, would be that how to overcome anxiety for being related to mental health and well-being. The anxiety is one of the major concerns in people's life. Even for a small thing, people have anxieties and all. So how can that we can overcome that?
Yeah, it's so difficult to say to pinpoint that, because everyone's an individual. Everyone's going through different hardships. For example, what you're going through, Mac, maybe is going to be okay for you because you can handle it better than, say, for example, if I was in the same situation as you, I will handle it worse. So it's not, we can't generalize anxiety, just like we can't generalize humans. It is part and parcel of our human experience to have stress in our lives, to have anxiety. The problem is when it gets out of hand, when it becomes something that, impedes us from living our day-to-day life, where we're constantly in that loop of feeling stressed, of feeling sad, of feeling low, of feeling like we have a void inside of us, like we're feeling helpless. That is when we need to seek help. But then if it's just like on a day-to-day basis where you get a little bit stressed out from traffic, or like your boss, or that your kids, your spouses, our everyday life, we always have stresses in it. That is when we can start going, okay, let me try and realize where my anxiety lies. What are my triggers? Why am I feeling upset or sad or whatever it may be? And let me try and find ways and tips and tools in order to help that. And that can be along the lines of definitely self-care. The thing that goes out the window a lot when we are feeling anxious is that we don't want to take care of ourselves. We don't sleep well, we don't eat well, we eat junk food, we try and sleep the whole night, we distract ourselves. So it's catching ourselves and realizing, okay, this is not beneficial for my health. We all know that endlessly scrolling or Netflixing or anything like overconsumption, over Netflixing, over buying, overeating, over anything means that there is a problem there. There is some sort of challenging that you're facing and that you're trying to avoid. So catch yourself. If you are overdoing things, then there is something that you need to sort of realize, okay, I need to focus on myself. So what does that look like? That looks like making sure that you have 7 to 9 hours of good sleep. And that's good, deep, restful sleep, not the light sleep. So nowadays, there's a lot of research on sleep. They say, sorry, yeah, you have a question? You want to say
Yeah,
something?
but the fact is, the people are so compact, right?
Yeah.
Like, if we talk about the anxiety, as you're mentioning, a lot of people do not realize how to seek the help because
Mm,
they feel that if they share or they want to seek the help, they feel that there's a problem in them. That's the reason they don't come forward to even acquire a life coach, because there should be a difference between a doctor and a life coach, right? So a lot of people get confused between life coaches, what the life coach can add value in changing their appearance, the mentality, and
yeah,
stuff. So the fact
absolutely.
is that how do you encourage and give confidence to people? If you have any anxiety or any mental issues, come forward, we will help you. But don't believe that it's a sickness. It's
No,
something which is, I would see as a blockade in the mind. Do you agree
yeah.
with that?
I agree that it's definitely not a sickness. I agree that it's something that isn't permanent. I agree that it's not something that can overtake you. It can, though. That's the problem with anxiety. If you allow it to, it can, just like anything in life. But it's not something permanent. Like, anxiety, as I mentioned, it's everyday stresses. It's the problem with anxiety is that when it starts building up and when we don't have a release, then we start exploding. This is the problem with anxiety. When we have to catch it in its infancy, when it's small, when it's just a little ball, you don't want it to grow into an avalanche, avalanche into a massive, massive ball, because at that point you can't do anything about it. So it's realizing when you have the anxiety to begin with. So say an example, maybe your kids at home are stressing you out. Okay. And you then have a phone call from your boss, and then your spouse is telling you to go and pick up the laundry, and. So take a step back, breathe into your body. One thing that we do not do is breathe. And it's such a simple, basic, but effective tool. And breathing, not we breathe every day. Of course, we breathe. I'm talking about consciously breathing, where we take the time to just sit. We breathe through our noses into our bellies, breathe out through our mouth, at least 4 to 5, 6 times, big, deep belly breaths. That engages our vagus nerve. That is our nerve that goes through our central system, that makes sure that we're not in a to make sure that we're not in a sympathetic nervous system, which is where we're in fight or flight, which is what happens when we have anxiety. We're always in that fight or flight. We're trying to figure out what to do. We're always in our logical brain. But what I'm suggesting, and what we all know, is to get into our parasympathetic, which is our rest and digest, which is where we calm down, which is where we can get more clarity, where we get more focus. The problem that we always try and face is that when we're in that, that running brain, that monkey mind, We're trying to find answers in there. It doesn't work. We have to slow ourselves down through breathing, through tapping, through grounding, through journaling, through going to have a little nap, through self-care, like taking a bath, going for a walk in nature, connecting with friends. All of
We don't
these
need
things.
medications for those, right? No need for medications,
No.
right?
So for anxiety to begin with, definitely not. Because, as I mentioned, it's an everyday thing. The only time when pills or medication is a necessity is when you start feeling that you're not in control of your emotions anymore. Where every single day you're feeling depressed, where every single day you're feeling confused, where you're feeling that you can't concentrate, you can't focus, you feel like you're drowning. This is when we need to seek help. That is because at this point, the anxiety levels has either gone to a panic attack, it's gone to, an even stronger form, which is depression. It can lead to all sorts of different problems if we don't sort that out.
But do you think electrolytes in the body has an effect on the anxiety? Like if it's less in the body?
Yes, I also agree with that. So we need to realize how much electrolytes we have in our body. We have to make sure that we're having good enough nutrition. We have to take our vitamins. One thing that I am realizing a lot with my clients as well is that they feel very low. So we've tried all sorts of grounding techniques and all that. When they go onto pills, they feel a little bit better, but they realize that is not exactly where they want to be. So actually pills do help, but the main thing is to work on the inside, right? Is to make sure that you up level your anxiety from the inside. And that's an everyday thing, Mac. It's not allowing it to build up before it explodes, right? So
How can we practice to be calm? That's the most difficult part in our lives.
Yeah, so difficult. It's so difficult, especially when we allow things to get away with our brain. So again, stepping back. Here's a question. So say you're writing an email, right? And you're getting stressed out. Happens to us a lot. You receive an email and you have to reply back. And you're in like your fight or flight mode at this point. You're like, oh, you're all nervous, you're upset. And you start like being very emotional and you're writing an emotional email.
Yeah.
Is it good to send that email, or what's the best thing to do instead?
Just to leave that place, I would say.
Exactly. Walk away from the email, right? Get some fresh air. Breathe, connect to your body. And then when you feel calmer, you can come back and you can send that email from a much better place. It's the same thing with everything. Once you feel stressed out, we always try to fix it then and there. We always try and go, no, I'm just gonna keep on going. And yeah, you might send that email, but then you might not be happy with what you've sent. You might get some backlash from that email, right? So it's the same thing with everything in life. We always try and push through it. The best thing is realize that, oh, I'm getting triggered right now. I'm getting upset right now. This is causing me anxiety right now. Let me step away. Same thing with kids. Kids build up your anxiety levels. What's the best thing to do? Kids, I love you. Mama needs 5 minutes right now. Walk away. So that is one of the quickest ways to calm our nervous system, Mac, is to just walk away, deep breathe, listen to some music, do some meditation, do some quick running, something. And one great thing as well that we need to do is break our state. So being in a state means that, for example, when we're in an anxiety state or an anxious state, again, it's our monkey mind running and we're trying to figure out things in that monkey mind. It's not going to work. Break the state by, you can do something like just clap hands under your face and go, I should stop it. So that kind of breaks you out of that loop, right? You need to do something that allows you to just go, no, this is not me right now. This is just the situation that I'm in. I'm not nervous. I'm not a bad person, but what's happening right now around me is making me feel anxious. So understanding that is the awareness, Mac, that we need to have, that a lot of us don't have because of all the upbringing that we have, because of the patterning that we've had from our parents, for example, to go, no, just suck it up. Everything's going to be okay. Just push on through. And I'm here to say that, no, we have to feel our emotions. We have to feel the pain, the suffering, the anxiety in order to move through. Because if we don't feel that sadness, where's it going to go? It's going to go deep inside of us. And where's that going to go afterwards? It's going to come out in other ways, like headaches and migraines and psoriasis and autoimmune diseases and all of these different problems, gastroenteritis. So we need to catch it when it's in its infancy before it gets too big, and realize, okay, this anxiety level, I need to figure that out. What is triggering me? Is it my mother? Is it because of this? Is it my job? And then realizing what those triggers are, we can change them. We can change our circumstances around us. Once we change the circumstances around us, our anxiety levels will naturally decrease.
Can you define mental health in a points form? What type of mental health do people go through? And so that people can find ways in understanding that they have some mental issues or anxiety issues or, you know, a lot
Yeah.
of other things. How you can define mental health in bullet points so the people can know about it.
Right. So mental health is, in essence, it's our emotional state, our physical state, our social state, our well-being, our psychological state. It's the states that we're in that creates the health, right? It creates us, whether we go on a discombobulated place or whether we go in a bit more calmer. So it's basically our mental health makes us feel a certain way, act a certain way, behave a certain way, think a certain way. So it
Mhm.
really is essential to work on our mental health, to go, okay, I'm not feeling good right now. I'm feeling a little bit sad. I'm feeling a little bit discombobulated, or whatever it may be, or I'm thinking bad thoughts, or I'm behaving a certain way. Okay, I have to realize that it's not only the physical form that I need to work on, because we all need to work on ourselves physically for sure. We also need to up level all of our basic necessities as well. The amount of us who don't sleep enough, eat enough food, drink enough water, like these are the basics that a lot of us don't do. Taking our vitamin Ds, taking our calciums, taking our magnesium tablets. These are very, very important. And then when we realize we've up leveled all of those, we've covered all the basic necessities, maybe there's something else. Maybe there is something wrong with me emotionally. Maybe I have had trauma from my childhood. Maybe I need to figure that out. Maybe I need to go and seek a life coach or seek support from a professional healthcare or from a doctor. So it's also realizing, Mac, that it doesn't mean because we're in pain, mentally, that there's something wrong with us. I want to change that. It's no longer taboo to realize that our mental health is something only for the weirdos or the people who have psychological problems like schizophrenia or bipolar. No, it's nothing at all like that. So it's all, our mental health also is the way that we relate to stress. How do we relate to stress, right? Like some of us can relate very well to stress because we've had a beautiful upbringing, because we've had secure attachment styles our whole life, because we've learned the techniques and tools along the way from our parents, from our siblings, from our teachers, right? To understand where stress lies and how to leave it. I'm a big believer in releasing the stress in order to relieve the stress and feel the relief. Otherwise, where's it going to go? It's going to go inside of us. So it is also realizing that our mental health is how we handle the stress, and it's our relationship with others as well.
Really, that's really something to know about. Really, thank you so much for that. And now the fact is that did you get any reviews from your clients, how they were and what they have become after your life coaching, and what transformation they have in their life to overcome a lot of issues? So we would like to hear those success stories from you to understand that how people can take steps, to identify their problems, and they can come forward and connect with you for their problems
Please,
too.
absolutely, anytime, please do connect with me. I would love to help you out in any way, shape, or form that I can. So many success stories, Mac, which is great. And the good thing I love about life coaching, which is very different to therapy and to psychiatry, where people can be on pills for many, 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 many years and still not find solutions. With life
Hmm.
coaching, we really delve not only into the past where the triggers are made, obviously, because everything starts off in childhood. And then once we rework and understand where the triggers are and the traumas are, we come back to the present day. And then we work on our goals and aspirations. The problem that a lot of us face is that in our adulthood, present day now, we have a lot of our past traumas and triggers that we have in our present day, and we carry those with us, and we try to move through with them in life, right? It's like having a big sack of rocks on our back, and we're trying to climb a mountain. It's going to be strenuous. We can make it. We can make it up that mountain, but by golly, it's going to be really heavy. So what life coaching does is that we start removing those blocks, those rocks, right? And so eventually that backpack is so light that you walk up that person walks up the mountain so easily. So this is what I'm doing with my clients. I'm removing the rocks from their backpack, and then these rocks could be, feeling low self-worth, feeling low confidence, having anxiety, not understanding their direction, problems with their marriage, problems with their family, anything it may be. And as we mentioned in the beginning, everyone's an individual. So it's even if you have the same problems as someone else, you've had a very different upbringing from someone else, right? So your whole viewpoint will be very, very different. So taking each and every person in their journey of life, where they stand, is key as well. Understanding where they come from, their upbringing, their background, their childhood, their problems, their insecurities, their all of their challenges that they're facing today, understanding that, unpacking that, and then through the unpacking, then we can start building it. It's a bit like this analogy of, let's say, a garden has lots of weeds in it. Yeah, it's a garden, but it's got lots of weeds. So what do? We remove all those weeds. We're plucking them all out. That's the same thing. We're removing the insecurities. We're removing all of the self-hate, the self-doubt, the imposter syndrome, all of these things that we all face. We all face them at one point in our lives. So we remove all of those through understanding, through talking, through tools and techniques. And then after that, it's the same thing like a garden. If we don't start planting beautiful flowers, what's going to keep on growing back? Those weeds. So the weeds will grow back. So we don't want that. We remove the weeds, we remove all of the anxieties, and then we plant them with positive thoughts. We plant the seeds of beautiful flowers. And so the garden will grow with a healthy space. Same thing with our mind. If we use that analogy, remove the limiting beliefs, remove all of the insecurities, and then when the person is ready, we can start inserting like good ideas, good thoughts, manifestation, all of these things that allows them to go, I am worthy, I'm a good person. What happened to me is not me. My anxieties do not define me. That's what happens to a lot of people. We think that we are our anxiety, we are our depression, we are our mistakes, we are our problems, but we're not. These are just circumstances that happen around us. We can change all of that. It's just a matter of desiring it and putting the everyday steps to implement it, which is difficult.
I know it is. Is the behavior changes related to anxiety, or it is because of this environmental situation?
It's all, parts and parcel of it, but definitely environment is going to affect our mental health. Look what's happening in the world now, sadly. Horrible what's going on in the world around now, in Palestine. Imagine what these people are going through. Imagine their mental health, their circumstances, which is out of their hands.
People like you, me, or all the common people out there, by looking at all those images and pictures, and also how mentally you feel so down,
And from us, and we can often go through something which is called survivor's guilt, where we are living a good life as opposed to them, right? It's like, what gives us the luck? What gives us the chance? Whereas they're not going through that. Why? And so that's why as well, it's very important to realize these things and to practice gratitude, to know that we are in a good place, and to thank the Lord and thank for all the blessings that we have. So yeah, it comes hand in hand for sure, but circumstances and environments play a massive, massive factor on our mental well-being for sure.
Your method of coaching to individuals or the groups, is it one-to-one you prefer more, or you with a lot of people in the room you prefer more? How do you define that your coaching methods?
So I started off my coaching with only one-on-ones. Now we have branched off into groups, and now I also do workshops. So I still love and prefer my one-on-ones, to be honest, because I can dedicate my time, my energy specifically to that person. And I'm really, really focused on that person only. The thing about in a group is that, it's nice because there is a collective. We can all learn from each other.
But
We
different
can all
personalities and different
personality,
mindsets.
mindsets, different perspectives. And when someone talks about their problem, someone else can relate. So I love the group setting as well. So both are amazing. Workshops are also good as well, because then I start teaching, I start explaining to people about certain things like productivity or time management, or how to release anxiety, or how to believe in ourselves more, or how to focus on being more positive. Like all of these things as well are very important to realize that it's not only a individual therapy, but also to go for group coaching, and also to go for workshops. The more skills that we can have within our lives, the more we grow.
In a family, there's a group of 4 or 5 members, like husband, wife, 2 or 3 kids, and all behave differently. So now, if suppose a husband is going through a lot of stressful life daily in his office or his business or whatever, so correcting him would be wise, or it should be better to sit with the whole family to explain the situation of the husband, or the wife should correct herself, how it should be. What perspective do you think in your mind that
Yeah.
because of the anxieties happening to one person but it's affecting the family, so how could that be overcome by everybody?
Right. And that usually does happen, doesn't it, Mac? We see a lot in
Yeah,
families as well when a
yeah.
father's stressed out or a mother's stressed out. So say, for example, a father comes home from work, okay? He's had a really stressful day, and unfortunately he's not able to shut off, to shut off from his work mode, and he's still
Or
wearing
give
his
ample of important time to his family, shutting
yes.
him off because of his stress.
Exactly. Exactly. So he comes home, he's so stressed out, he's shutting down his family. His family is like, what's happened? Why is Baba like this again? It affects the children, it affects the mother, it's bound to.
Mhm.
So one of the best things to do at that point is definitely not to, you know, try and tell him to, oh, just stop being anxious, stop being sad. That's the worst thing that we can tell someone, by the way, who is going through
Mhm.
anxiety. Stop feeling that way. It how? We're not a light bulb.
But
We
but
can't
someone cannot stop immediately. He has to go through certain time to cool down. Everybody has
yes,
different up and
yes,
downs in life.
absolutely. So realizing who, what Baba needs or what the father needs is to have some downtime. Maybe he needs to go and have something to eat. Maybe he needs to have a little nap. Maybe he needs to have a shower. Something like that, to not add the extra stress onto him, to go, okay,
How does
let's go.
shower help reducing the stress?
Oh, it's wonderful. Shower, because of water, allows us to just calm down. Even better
Okay.
is an Epsom salt bath. Epsom salts, because they're full of magnesium. And what I
Uh-huh.
mentioned earlier is our bodies oftentimes are lacking magnesium and vitamin D. And that actually brings about more anxiety and
Can you
stress.
repeat? Magnesium and
Magnesium and vitamin D.
vitamin D. Okay.
Yeah, vitamin D so if we can, for the listeners, take some supplements of
But a
magnesium
lot
and
of
vitamin
women and ladies, they lack vitamin D mainly because they're inside. They don't go exposed to the suns and all, right?
Correct. Men and women as well. Correct. Yes, absolutely true. And amazingly, even in the Middle East, where there's a lot of sun, there's a lot of lack of vitamin D in people here. So taking your vitamins, making sure that you up level that, taking your magnesium, having some Epsom salt baths, going for a massage, all of these things reduces it, because your body is in a heightened state, right? And as we mentioned before, anxiety, you're living in your head. So to calm your body down, go and have a shower, go and do some grounding, which means going to walk barefoot outside, or doing some meditations that calms your body. Do something that allows you to go, or de-stress. Go to do some kickboxing, go to do some paddle, go to do some supping, whatever it may be. Or if you're a guy and you prefer to work on maybe more motivational stuff, like setting your goals, understanding where you are now, where you're going to be in the future, doing like a timeline in order to achieve that. Because we all want to achieve more in our life, right? But sometimes we get stuck
Mhm.
from our anxiety or from people telling us that we can't do it. So making sure that you do that every single day to up level your strength and your skills is extremely important for your own self benefit. For you to realize, oh no, actually I am doing better with myself. I don't need to listen to the naysayers. I know that I'm doing good. So that's also other ways. Relaxation is extremely, extremely important for the body and the mind. Yeah.
Okay. What is the positive message out there you could like to give my audience and the people watching this podcast, that if they have any trauma, loss of anything, or mentally they're down, what positive message you would like to give them so that they can realize that they can be a positive human being too?
Yeah. I would really recommend to understand that your negative feelings are all part and parcel of a human experience. Okay.
Hmm.
To not dismiss them. When you feel sad or low, to just acknowledge them and welcome them and go, okay, I hear you. I understand you. What message would you like to tell me right now so I can understand myself more? Then, through understanding the negative parts, you can be more positive. Because if we just try and be positive all the time, it's a bit like toxic positivity, not dismissing the fact that we have hardships in our life, dismissing the fact that we have obstacles, and just focusing on the positive is also not a good thing. We need to realize where our faults lay, how we can up level them and work on them, and then we can focus on the positive. But 100% definitely make sure that you focus on the positive, try and see the silver lining, realize what you have in your life, practice gratitude, do some journaling, be more connected to earth, to yourself, to your peers, to your social setting. And also, one thing that's key is to not surround yourself with people who you know cannot provide you with the happiness or with the advice or with the even the space to just hold you. Because a lot of us go to people expecting people to help them, to change them, to advise them, but they go to the wrong people. It's a bit like the
Hmm.
analogy of you don't go to a Chinese restaurant expecting to buy tacos. You don't. You go to a Chinese restaurant expecting to get a chicken chow mein. You know what I mean? Like, what
Yeah,
you're expecting to get from that. But a lot of us try and go to people expecting them to provide them with something they're not capable of. So also
I agree.
realizing that, go to your friend who you know can advise you or hold space for you or just listen. Sometimes we don't, sometimes we just want people to hear us. We don't want them to give us a solution. And
Hmm.
so understanding that as well, focusing on the positive, realizing who you can go to in order to get to seek help and advice. And at the
Hmm.
same time, if you feel that you're not able to control your emotions well enough, then please do seek more professional help. Everyone is there to help you in the professional field. Doctors, life coaches, psychiatrists, we're all here to we understand what you're going through because we all go through that too because we're human as well. So yeah, understanding that.
Well, well, well. This was Hyesha Barrett talking
Thank you
about
so much.
anxiety, well being, mental health with us to understand why we all go through some issues, but we should overcome them with practice, practice, practice. So that's what I believe in, and I feel that Hyesha Barrett can add value in people's lives. So, everybody out there, in the description section, I have mentioned Haitia's email and her social media links so that please go and connect with her if you all have any, or anybody. It could be a male, female, kids, adults, everybody. Just connect with Haisha. She's sitting in Oman. She can definitely guide you with her professional experience and expertise to overcome all the issues you are going through currently in life. If you don't get it, make if she can't make any change, she will make a change because I know I have worked with her on a therapy, so I feel that you all should connect with her. So Hisha
Yeah.
Barrett is a very beautiful personality and beautiful soul, I would say. So
Thank you, Mac. So
hopefully,
are
Hisha,
you.
I haven't. Thank you so much. So we're gonna play a small rapid fire game with Haisha so that to make this podcast a little bit more interesting. and to understand Hyesha a bit more from inside out. Okay, Hyesha? So, Hyesha,
Sure.
what's your favorite color?
My favorite color right now is purple.
Purple. And what does purple define for you as a life coach?
Purple is awakening, actually, spiritual awakening.
Awakening.
Yes, in all of the it's one of the most beautiful colors, and it was created by the Phoenicians. But I love the color purple. I feel that it really uplifts me and up levels me. So and you know what? Purple was even part of my color theme of my wedding. So I love purple and I love orange. Those are the two colors that really, really give me energy. And yellow. I
Dark
love yellow.
colors and the vibrant colors. Vibrant colors. Great.
Yeah, vibrant.
Favorite holiday spot which you have been or which you haven't been yet?
Oh, so I went to Croatia. Croatia is beautiful. I loved it. I would love to go back. New Zealand was also stunning. Love New Zealand. Where I'd like to go to, where I haven't been yet, Mongolia. I'd love to go to Mongolia or Papua New Guinea. I think those are pretty cool countries.
What makes Hyesha being in Middle East rather than in other countries? What makes her being in Oman?
Yeah, it's a circle of life. I was here a while ago. My parents were here in the early 80s, and we left here in the 80s. And I believe this is a circle of life. I traveled around, and I came back here 20 years ago, only expecting it to be a stepping stone. And here I am 20 years later. I married an Omani man. My kids are Omani. So alhamdulillah, I feel very, very rested and stable here in Oman. I feel
So
Oman.
did Hyesha took this opportunity in learning Arabic as well?
Oh gosh, you're calling me out here, Mac. When I first came to Oman, I did try and learn it, and I've done a few
Now, you have
lessons.
an added advantage being an Omani husband, right? So it's always
Yes.
because I believe that learning a second language with your language, first language or mother tongue is English, right? So learning Arabic would be second language would be very challenging. So I'm sure you want to give it a try, I guess, if I'm
So
not
I
wrong.
speak French and Spanish as well. So Arabic would be my fourth language. I did try to learn it, but the thing is, everyone speaks perfect English here. I know it's not the right excuse,
That's the
but
problem in Middle East. You know, when you want to learn their language, they learn
yes,
I mean, the English, which is more international language. So nobody
correct,
prefers going for the other languages.
exactly, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, Heisha, a shout out from you for Mac Vlogs would be an honor for me
So thank
so
you
that
so much
your
for having
audience
me.
can start subscribing Mac Vlogs. So why don't you go for a shout out now?
Yeah, please do, everyone. Subscribe to Mac. He is amazing. This guy is so inspirational. He really wants to up level the energy of the world. He really wants everyone to feel in a good space. And so I bless you, Mac, for bringing so many people together. You are a connector, and we need more people like you in life, because you are able to connect the world, and I think that's a wonderful thing. So please keep on following Mac, and if you want to get in touch with me to learn more about coaching, or if you want to have a session, please also do get in touch as well. And thank you again, Mac, for having me.
Same here. God bless you. Keep that smile on because your smiles inspire so many people out there as a life coach so that people who are depressed, they can be vibrant again by meeting you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, for
Thank
my
you.
audience, just a small note. My second guest, who was Dr. Yasser Akil, he was a performance and business coach. Sorry he couldn't make it this afternoon. I think he got stuck because of the weather predictions and all. He told me that he will make sure and try his level best to be here on the show today, but unfortunately, with the weather and the
Shame.
circumstances, could not allow him today. So we missed him today, but we had a great time with Hyesha Barrett. So Hyesha, thank you once again for being a guest on Mac Vlogs. So
Thank you.
God bless you again. Take care, keep smiling, and we will keep on bringing with different topics again. And so we're going to make sure this podcast becomes monthly, changing minds for people in future as well.
Love it.
Okay,
I love it. I'm super excited. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
sure. Take
Take
care.
care.
Thumbs up to you and big share of applause to you. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.